Today's question, is it worth the time to learn how to use the Pro mode on your mobile phone camera? I know for sure that some of you have gone into the Pro app of your phone at least once, and if you're like me, you were overwhelmed by all the different adjustable settings and values. It just felt so much easier to let the phone software do its thing since the majority of us aren't professional photographers. But what would happen if I told you that we actually hired a professional photographer to evaluate how each phone camera works with manual settings? The Xiaomi 13 Ultra, Sony Xperia 1 Mark V, and the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra are here and ready to let the facts speak. Before we start, there is one thing that you should know though. This video is also about the ease of use of these Pro modes. For example, our photographer had some complaints that the end result was not as good as how the preview looked, which did lead to some inconsistencies. One example I can give you is that the exposure value was changed based on the preview, but the end result was sometimes too bright or too dark. Also, the white balance was left the same between all the phones, so keep that in mind while you're doing your reviews. Here we have some musical chairs. No, not really, but they're quite colorful to begin with. From the tone of the colors to the detail, it's clear that the Xiaomi 13 Ultra did a better job than the other two, as they are a bit overexposed and were harder to manage in this scene. The second image is one of our favorites, and we opted to choose the Galaxy and the Xiaomi due to the highlights being very well managed. The photographer actually preferred the photo by the S23 Ultra, but said it was a very minor difference between its photo and the photo on the left. Image number 3 is one where I ended up not being perfectly in focus on the Xiaomi flagship. Interestingly enough, the Galaxy S23 Ultra did a great job here, as well as our photographer, as they were both able to work together and collaborate to get the perfect photo. Notice how compared to regular shots that we review, the photo of the Galaxy is able to protect the information even though we pull down the brightness and highlights. This is because manual adjustments are able to achieve more precision than camera software handling everything in less than a couple of seconds. This one here is also one of my favorites, a very beautiful scene. The Xiaomi 13 Ultra did an almost flawless job here, and we really enjoyed the end result as everything looks detailed and clean. Even though the Galaxy did a similar job, the Xperia's focus was easier to get on point here, granting its photo a better spot. How about this one? Me in a park. Very original, right? Speaking of original, how about a quick like and a subscribe to support the channel? Thanks guys! So, as it is with shots like these which have a lot of sunlight coming directly down from the sky, we naturally want to see details in the shadows. The order is from left to right as we see instances of Xiaomi's large sensor help out in managing the fine details. The sixth image is a new generation, artsy kind of photo. You know, those types of situations where you can make art out of anything. Well, in this one, we prefer the photos on the left and middle as the focus on those are more on point, and not to mention that there is just more information on the wall. The next one is another instance where Xiaomi just does it better. What I'd like to focus on is my forehead and also my left shoulder. Neutralizing the sunlight ensures that the photo is not overexposed, which in turn retains more detail. As for the other two, I think they balance each other out with one being brighter while the other is darker. As for this image, it was Sony this time that gave us trouble with the focus, making me impressed with Xiaomi on how consistent and easy it was to adjust it on their flagship. Good dynamic range is another bonus here as it manages this slightly better overall. It's kind of obvious how Xiaomi and Samsung just took a better photo in this one, as the natural light was lower than expected and the S23 Ultra didn't have the best time with manual settings. We will be jumping back into the Xiaomi 13 Ultra's corner in the next image though, and might as well put the 1 Mark V in there as well. Even though they all have blown out skies, the first two have somewhat tried to do something with regard to dynamic range. Not only this, they also have more information in their pictures as the brightness is a bit too high on the Galaxy. This is a consistent trait across the photos, and the preview did look a bit different. Same goes for this image of the theater, as I'm a fan of how the 13 Ultra's photo turned out like it was fine-tuned on Adobe Lightroom. We did end up liking the 1 Mark V's photo more though, as the colors are more accurate due to the white balance being more easily adjustable in this scene. Now we go back to me and my brand new sunglasses. You can leave a comment below on what you think about them, as well as what you think about the video. Can't really decide between these three, just that my face is a little bit too red on the left, which leads me to lean more towards the photos on the middle and the right. Well, these were the photos we took outdoors, and some of them were in lesser light. Remember, this comparison is also about how easy it is to use the pro apps for a professional photographer, which definitely does affect the results in one way or the other. In the end, our preference lay with the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, who often outperformed due to the sheer power of the Sony IMX989 sensor. The Sony Xperia 1 Mark V was not too far behind though, as both of them perform optimally for us. Now it's time for the night photos that I promised, and boy, I am just in awe at how the Xiaomi 13 Ultra performs. For example, look at the sign in the first photo. Even if you're not a photographer, you can easily see how much better the sign looks compared to the Xperia, and still much better than the Galaxy, even though they both manage the brightness pretty well. It's just so crisp with minimal noise, and the reason for this is, as I mentioned, the 1-inch sensor produced by Sony for Xiaomi. The second photo is no different, and even though Sony's photo also looks nice, the information present in the photo on the left is out of this world. The third image is one of my favorites, as the 13 Ultra's photo just looks edited. That's how much cleaner it looks, especially in terms of noise, as the others aren't on the same level, with the Xperia overall performing better than the Galaxy. Image number 4, no changes here. Loving what Xiaomi is showing us, and the Xperia is once again looking better than the Galaxy. Last up is a close-up of a flower. Just try to focus on the leaves and the flower itself, as the detail is something I've really grown to appreciate while using the 13 Ultra at night. What a phone that Xiaomi has produced, and it looks even better in the hands of a professional photographer. So, what do we learn from this? Well, we learned that the Sony Xperia Mark series are really good phone cameras when you have someone using them with manual settings, so you guys were right. However, mad respect to Xiaomi, as when they first came out onto the scene, they were basically a budget and mid-range phone company. When you look at them now, they're producing very high quality camera phones. Do you guys share similar opinions or not? Leave your thoughts in the comments below so that we can reply to you, and if you'd like and subscribe, because that's the only way to get YouTube to show our videos to more people. I'll see you around.